On our wedding night, I hid under the bed to tease my new wife, but someone else walked into the room and put her phone on speaker. What I heard made my blood run cold. I pressed flat against the hardwood floor under the king-sized bed in our honeymoon suite, biting back a laugh. My Hugo Boss tuxedo was getting wrinkled. The hotel carpet smelled like expensive cleaning chemicals. My wife Rachel, married for exactly 2 hours and 43 minutes, would kill me when I jumped out yelling surprise. We'd been together 5 years. She loved pranks, harmless ones, playful ones. This was our thing. The door opened at 9:47 p.m. High heels clicked across the hardwood. Sharp, precise, expensive shoes. Not Rachel's footsteps. Too heavy, too deliberate. My mother-in-law Diane sat on the edge of the bed directly above my head. The springs groaned. The mattress compressed. I could see her black Louboutin pumps, the $100 ones Rachel had pointed out at Nordstrom, planted firmly on the floor 3 inches from my face. "Martha, hold on. Let me get comfortable." Diane's voice. "I'm calling you from the honeymoon suite at the Biltmore estate." I froze. What was she doing here? Rachel had sent me up to change out of my reception tux into something more comfortable for the after party. She was supposed to be downstairs with guests. No, the idiot's still down in the ballroom schmoozing with his father's business partners," Diane continued. I could hear the smile in her voice. "Playing the dutiful son? God, he's pathetic." My stomach dropped. "The plan's working perfectly, Martha. Better than perfect. Rachel's got him completely wrapped around her little finger. You should see it. The boy is so in love he can barely function." I stopped breathing. Oh, and get this. He signed the prenup I drafted. Actually believed it was protecting him. The moron doesn't understand a single thing about contract law. I had my lawyer Michael Chen double-check everything. The second they hit 6 months of marriage, half his trust fund becomes community property. Georgia law. He's too stupid to know the difference. The floor felt like it was tilting beneath me. I grabbed the bed frame to steady myself. "Better yet," Diane laughed. Actually laughed. "His father already transferred the lake house on Lanier into both their names as a wedding gift. That property alone is worth $2.3 million. Market rate, prime waterfront. Rachel doesn't even have to do anything. It's already hers. My lake house. The one I'd grown up visiting every summer. The one Dad had promised me since I was 8 years old. The one with my initials carved into the dock. Rachel plays the loving wife for a year, maybe 18 months if we need to be safe. Then we file for irreconcilable differences. She walks away with millions. Millions, Martha. And the best part? He'll probably still be in love with her when we destroy him." My blood turned to ice. Actually, ice. I could feel it in my veins. "Oh, you should have seen him at the altar. Martha, the boy was actually crying, like he won the lottery, like Rachel was some kind of prize," she cackled. "He's rich, yes, very rich, but pathetic. Completely pathetic. Rachel doesn't even have to sleep with him that much. She can claim she's tired from work, headaches, whatever. He's so desperate for affection he'll accept anything." Rachel. My Rachel. The woman I'd just married 3 hours ago. The woman I'd been dating since we met at a charity gala in 2018. 5 years. The woman who'd moved into my penthouse, who'd met my family, who'd planned this wedding down to the last detail. "His father's the real jackpot though," Diane continued. "James Whitmore, net worth estimated at $53 million. Real estate development, commercial properties, investments, and when the old man dies, everything goes to the son, the precious only child. And if Rachel's still married to Ryan when that happens," she paused for effect, "we're talking tens of millions, Martha. $50 million, maybe more. Rachel just has to stick it out, play house, pretend to be the devoted wife. And when James dies, he's 68 now, not exactly young, we cash out." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach, like someone had reached into my chest and crushed my heart with their bare hands. Diane stood up, the springs released. Her heels moved toward the door. "Anyway, I have to get back downstairs before anyone notices I'm gone. Can't have people asking questions about why the mother of the bride is missing during cocktail hour. Keep this between us, Martha." Rachel's playing her part beautifully. She even convinced him to fire his own lawyer and use mine for the prenup, Michael Chen. Can you believe it? The boy signed documents drafted by my attorney and thought he was protecting himself. She laughed again. "That sound would haunt me forever. I'll call you tomorrow. We'll celebrate properly once this circus is over." The door opened, closed, silence. I lay there under the bed, shaking, not from cold, from rage, from betrayal, from the complete destruction of everything I'd believed for 5 years. Rachel didn't love me. She never had. 5 years of lies, every kiss, every "I love you," every moment I'd thought was real. Our first date at the Fox Theater, the weekend we spent in Savannah, the night I proposed on Stone Mountain, all of it was fake, a con, a performance. I pulled out my phone with trembling hands. Thank God I'd had it in my pocket. I opened the voice memo app. Then I realized I hadn't been recording. I'd heard everything but had no proof. No, wait. I scrolled through my recent calls. There, the call log. I'd been on the phone with my groomsman Marcus right before coming upstairs. The call had never disconnected. We'd been on speakerphone discussing the after-party plans. I called him back immediately. Whispered, "Marcus, tell me you heard that. Ryan, where are you? Why are you whispering? Did you hear anything just now? On the call? It should have still been connected." "Yeah, I heard everything, left my phone on my table and went to get a drink. When I came back, this woman was talking about, holy shit, Ryan, was that your mother-in-law? Record it. If you still have the call history, screen record it. Save the audio file. Send it to me right now. On it. My phone buzzed 30 seconds later. Audio file. 4 minutes and 37 seconds. I played it back. Every word clear. Undeniable. I had evidence. I crawled out from under the bed, sat on the floor, tried to think through the rage. My hands were shaking. I'd never felt this kind of anger. Not when competitors had tried to sabotage my deals. Not when business partners had betrayed confidences. This was different. Personal. Intimate. Devastating. Rachel knocked on the door. 3 soft taps. Babe, you in there? I steadied my voice. Years of business negotiations had taught me how to mask emotion. Yeah, just changing. Give me 5 minutes. Okay, but don't take too long. Everyone's waiting for our first dance, and your dad wants to make another toast. She giggled. He's already emotional. I think he's had too much champagne. Our first dance, as husband and wife, to Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis, the song we'd chosen together, the song that now meant absolutely nothing. I'll be right down, I said. Her footsteps retreated down the hallway. I called my lawyer, my real lawyer, not Michael Chen, the one who'd drafted the prenup, the one Rachel had insisted we use because he's so good with estate planning. Tom Richardson, no relation to Rachel's family, picked up on the first ring. Ryan, congratulations, man. How's married life treating you? Tom, I need you to do something right now. I'm not joking. This is urgent. His tone changed immediately. What happened? Pull up the prenup that Michael Chen drafted, the one I signed last month. Papers rustled in the background. Tom was home, probably celebrating his own wedding anniversary, but he was dedicated. 26 years practicing law, 18 of those handling my family's legal affairs. Okay, I've got it. What am I looking for? Is it legal? Will it hold up in court? Long pause. More rustling. Ryan, where did you sign this? In Chen's office. Why? Because the notary seal is from DeKalb County, but Chen's office is in Fulton County. And the witnesses listed, let me check the bar registry. Typing sounds. Neither of these witnesses is a licensed attorney in Georgia. This prenup is invalid. Completely invalid. My heart raced. You're sure? Positive. The execution is fundamentally flawed. Wrong county filing, improper witnesses, the notarization itself is questionable. This wouldn't survive a preliminary hearing, let alone trial. Did Chen tell you he was licensed in Georgia? Yes, he said he'd been practicing family law here for 15 years. He's licensed in South Carolina, not Georgia. He can't practice law here. This entire document is worthless. The pieces clicked into place. Diane had deliberately used a lawyer who'd draft an invalid prenup, one that would appear to protect me but actually left me completely exposed. Tom, I need you to file for an annulment. Tonight, if possible. Monday morning at the latest. An annulment? Ryan, you've been married for 3 hours. I have proof of fraud. I'm sending it to you right now. I forwarded the audio file Marcus had sent me. Tom went silent as he listened. I could hear Diane's voice through his phone speaker. Could imagine his expression changing as the truth became clear. Holy shit, he breathed when it finished. This is fraud. Actual fraud. Inducement to marry under false pretenses. This is an annulment case. Clear as day. Can you have papers ready by Monday? I can have emergency papers ready by tomorrow. But Ryan, he paused. What do you want to do? You could handle this quietly. Annul the marriage. Walk away. Or what? Or you could expose them. Make this public. Make sure everyone knows what they tried to do. I thought about it. About Rachel downstairs in her white dress. About Diane schmoozing with my father's friends. About 5 years of calculated deception. About how many other wealthy men they might have done this to. Might do this to in the future. I want to expose them, I said. Publicly. Tonight. Are you absolutely sure? Once you do this, there's no taking it back. Your wedding will become a spectacle. Your family will be humiliated. The gossip will be brutal. My family is already being defrauded. I'd rather expose it now than let them steal millions. Then let's burn it all down, Tom said. I'll file emergency motions first thing tomorrow morning, but for tonight, that recording is your evidence. Use it. I changed into fresh clothes. Dark suit, blue tie, the one Rachel had picked out. How many lies had she told while helping me choose it? Walked downstairs at 10:23 p.m. The reception was in full swing. The Biltmore Estate ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers. 300 guests, full orchestra, ice sculptures, the works. Rachel had wanted an extravagant wedding. Something everyone will remember, she'd said. She'd gotten that right. Rachel rushed over the moment she saw me. Gorgeous, in her Vera Wang dress. 27 years old. Blonde. Blue eyes. The kind of beautiful that made people turn their heads. 5 years ago, I'd thought I was the luckiest man alive when she'd agreed to go out with me. Now I knew exactly how lucky I really was. There you are. She grabbed my hands. Everyone's been asking about you. Are you okay? You were gone for a while. I'm perfect, I said. Actually, I have a surprise. Her eyes lit up. Genuine excitement. Or was it? Had anything she'd ever shown me been genuine? Really? What kind of surprise? You'll see. But first, I need to make an announcement. I walked to the DJ booth, took the microphone, tapped it twice. The music stopped. 300 faces turned toward me. Everyone, can I have your attention? My voice echoed through the ballroom, clear and steady despite the rage burning in my chest. First, I want to thank you all for being here on this incredibly special day. Rachel stood next to me, beaming. Diane was near the cake table. 7 tiers, white fondant, sugar flowers, smiling proudly. Marriage is supposed supposed to be built on trust, I continued, on honesty, on genuine love and mutual respect. I paused, looked directly at Rachel. At least, that's what I believed when I proposed. That's what I believed when I stood at that altar today and cried, watching my beautiful bride walk down the aisle. Rachel's smile faltered slightly, just a flicker. But sometimes, I said slowly, people lie. Sometimes you spend 5 years with someone. You share your life with them. You introduce them to your family. You talk about having children. You plan a future together, and none of it is real. Ryan, what are you doing? Rachel whispered, close enough that only I could hear. About 45 minutes ago, I said to the crowd, I went upstairs to our honeymoon suite. I wanted to surprise my beautiful bride, maybe jump out and scare her when she walked in. We love pranks. It's our thing. I could see people smiling, thinking this was leading somewhere sweet. But I hid under the bed, and someone else walked into the room first. Diane's face went white, actually white. The champagne glass in her hand started shaking. Someone who didn't know I was there, someone who made a phone call on speakerphone, someone who told her friend Martha everything. Rachel grabbed my arm. Ryan, stop, please. We can talk about this. I pulled away gently, professional, calm. I recorded the entire conversation. Actually, my groomsman Marcus did. We were on a call that never disconnected. Lucky break, right? I pulled out my phone, connected it to the sound system. The DJ looked confused but did as I gestured. Let me play it for you, all of you, so you can hear exactly what kind of woman I married. I hit play. Diane's voice filled the ballroom, crystal clear, undeniable. The plan's working perfectly, Martha. Rachel's got him completely wrapped around her little finger. Gasps rippled through the crowd. 300 people, frozen, listening. Rachel's hand tightened on my arm. Ryan, stop this, please. You don't understand. I let the recording play. Every word, every detail. The prenup that was designed to be invalid. The lake house transfer. The $53 million inheritance plan. Rachel plays the loving wife for a year, maybe 18 months if we need to be safe. Then we file for irreconcilable differences. She walks away with millions. My father James stood up from his table, 68 years old, distinguished. The man who'd built Whitmore Development from nothing, who'd taught me everything about business and integrity. He looked like someone had slapped him. The boy was actually crying at the altar, like Rachel was some kind of prize. He's rich, yes, very rich, but pathetic, completely pathetic. The recording played for 4 minutes and 37 seconds. When it ended, the silence in that ballroom was absolute. 300 people holding their breath. So, Rachel, I turned to look at my wife. Tears were streaming down her face, ruining her makeup. Want to tell everyone the truth? Or should I? I can explain, she whispered. Ryan, it wasn't supposed to what? I wasn't supposed to find out. I wasn't supposed to hear your mother admit you've been conning me for 5 years. She couldn't answer, just stood there crying. I turned to address the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know something. My lawyer, Tom Richardson, is filing for an annulment Monday morning. Fraud invalidates marriage contracts in Georgia. The prenup was drafted by an attorney not licensed in this state. It's completely invalid. The lake house transfer can be contested as fraudulent inducement. All of it unravels. You can't do this, Diane shrieked. She pushed through the crowd, champagne sloshing from her glass. That recording is illegal. You can't use it. Actually, Mrs. Richardson, I can. Georgia is a one-party consent state. As long as one person in a conversation knows they're being recorded, it's completely legal. Marcus knew he was on the phone with me. You just happened to be loud enough for him to hear. Tom had coached me on this during our call, had made sure I understood exactly how the law worked. My father stepped forward. He'd been silent since the recording played. Now he looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Pride mixed with fury. Son, is every word of that recording true? Yes, Dad. He turned to Diane, to Rachel. His face hardened into something cold and terrifying. Security, escort the Richardson family out of this building, immediately. What? No, Rachel screamed. This is my wedding. You can't. This was never your wedding, I said quietly. It was a heist, a con, a carefully planned theft, and it's over. 4 security guards moved in. The Biltmore Estates security team. Professional, efficient. Diane tried to argue. You have no authority. We're guests. You can't just throw us out. This is a private event on private property, my father said coldly, and you're no longer welcome. Remove them. The security guards took Diane by the arms. She fought, screaming about lawyers and lawsuits and false accusations. But 300 witnesses had just heard the recording. 300 people who knew exactly what she'd done. Rachel grabbed my hand. Ryan, please, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It started as a plan, but I did develop feelings. Real feelings. These past 5 years, You developed feelings? I pulled my hand away. You just heard your mother say you didn't even have to sleep with me much. That you could claim headaches and I'd accept it because I was so desperate. That I was pathetic. And you never once corrected her. Never once told her the plan was off because you actually cared. I wanted to. I tried. But my mother, your mother who you've been conspiring with for 5 years. Your mother who helped you draft a fraudulent prenup. Your mother who laughed about stealing my inheritance. Security had Diane at the ballroom exit. She was still screaming, still threatening legal action. Rachel turned back to look at me one more time as security guided her toward the door. Her mascara was ruined. Her hair was disheveled. Her white dress had a champagne stain from when Diane had spilled her glass. "I loved you," she sobbed. "I really did. Maybe not at first, but eventually." "No, you didn't," I said. "But you're about to learn what it feels like to lose everything." I turned to my father. "Dad, can you have our lawyers freeze the lake house transfer?" He pulled out his phone, smiled, actually smiled. "Already done, son. I called Tom Richardson during the recording. The property transfer is being contested as we speak. Emergency motion filed electronically 20 minutes ago." I looked at him. "You knew?" "I suspected something was off when Rachel insisted on using her own lawyer. Your mother, God rest her soul, always said to trust your gut. Mine was screaming, so I had Tom do some quiet digging. Found enough red flags to make me nervous, but I needed proof. You just gave it to me." Security escorted Rachel and Diane out of the ballroom. Their screams echoed through the hallway, growing fainter. 300 guests stood in stunned silence. Some had their phones out, recording, taking photos. This would be all over social media by morning. My father turned to address the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disruption, but I think you'll all agree. My son just dodged the bullet of a lifetime." Someone started clapping, then another person. Then the whole room erupted in applause. "The bar remains open," Dad continued. "Please stay and enjoy the evening. The catering is paid for, the music is excellent, and we have 7 tiers of wedding cake that someone should eat." He put his hand on my shoulder, squeezed. "I'm proud of you, son. Not many men would have the stones to do what you just did. I learned from the best. Your mother would be proud too. She always said trust your instincts. You did." The DJ started playing music again. Guests slowly returned to their conversations, but the energy had changed. This wasn't a wedding reception anymore. It was something else, a celebration of narrow escape. Tom Richardson arrived 40 minutes later, walked straight to me. "Emergency annulment petition is filed. Judge Patricia Morrison, 28 years on the bench, known for fast rulings on fraud cases, granted an emergency hearing for Tuesday morning." That fast? The recording makes this open and shut. Fraud in the inducement. Georgia law is very clear. If a party induces marriage through fraudulent misrepresentation, the marriage is voidable. You have documented proof of fraudulent intent. It's over. What about the prenup? Invalid. As we discussed, Michael Chen is already in trouble with the Georgia State Bar. I filed a complaint tonight. He'll likely be disbarred for practicing without a license. And the lake house? Your father's emergency motion was granted. Property transfer is frozen pending the annulment ruling. Once the marriage is annulled, the transfer becomes void. The house stays in your name. I sat down in one of the reception chairs. The adrenaline was wearing off. In its place came exhaustion and grief. Because despite everything, despite the lies, the con, the betrayal, part of me had loved Rachel, had believed in us, had dreamed of a future together. That dream was dead, had been dead all along. I'd just been too blind to see it. Tom sat next to me. "You okay?" "Not really. You will be. This would have been so much worse if you'd found out after 6 months, after a year, after she'd actually succeeded in taking millions. You got out clean. I know. And Ryan, every woman in this room just watched you stand up for yourself, watched you refuse to be a victim, watched you handle this with dignity and strength. That's attractive. You're going to be fine." He was right. Over the next hour, at least a dozen women, including 2 of Rachel's bridesmaids, came up to tell me how impressed they were, how brave I'd been, how Rachel didn't deserve me. It should have felt good. It didn't. It just felt hollow. My father found me around midnight. Most of the guests had left. The ballroom was being cleaned. Staff were breaking down tables. "Come on," he said. "Let's go home." "I don't have a home. I lived with Rachel. You have the penthouse, your name, your property. She has 48 hours to collect her belongings with a police escort, and then she's out. Tom's already arranged it." We drove back to my penthouse in Buckhead, 23rd floor, 2 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Rachel's stuff was everywhere. Her clothes, her books, her yoga mat in the corner. 5 years of shared life scattered through the apartment. "We'll have movers pack it up," Dad said. "You don't need to deal with this tonight." I stood at the window, looked out at Atlanta's skyline, at the city lights stretching to the horizon. How did I not see it? I asked. 5 years, Dad. 5 years, and I never saw through her. Because you loved her. Because you trusted her. Because you're a good person who assumes other people are good too. He stood next to me. "That's not a weakness, son. That's humanity. Don't let her take that from you." I feel like an idiot. "You're not an idiot. You're a victim of fraud. There's a difference. And you handled it perfectly. You gathered evidence. You got legal counsel. You exposed the truth. Most people would have fallen apart. You dismantled them." The annulment hearing was Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Fulton County Superior Court. Judge Patricia Morrison presiding. Rachel showed up with a different lawyer, not Michael Chen. He was already suspended pending the bar investigation. Some attorney named David Walsh who looked uncomfortable from the moment he walked in. Tom presented the evidence, the recording, the invalid prenup, the fraudulent property transfer, the testimony from my father about how Rachel had insisted on using her own lawyer. Judge Morrison listened, reviewed the documents, asked a few clarifying questions. Then she ruled, "I've practiced family law in Georgia for 30 years. I've never seen fraud this calculated, this deliberate." She looked at Rachel with disgust. "Mrs. Whitmore, or I should say Ms. Richardson, since this marriage is about to be dissolved, you entered into this union with the express intent to defraud your spouse. You systematically planned to steal his assets. You manipulated him into using an invalid prenup. You and your mother orchestrated one of the most cynical cons I've witnessed in my career. Rachel stared at the table, wouldn't make eye contact. The annulment is granted. The marriage is void ab initio, from the beginning, as if it never happened. The property transfer is voided. All marital claims are dismissed. Ms. Richardson, you are ordered to vacate Mr. Whitmore's residence within 48 hours with police supervision. You are further ordered to have no contact with Mr. Whitmore except through attorneys. Violation of this order will result in contempt charges. The gavel came down. Rachel stood slowly, looked at me one last time. I hope you're happy. I'm not happy, I said, but I'm free. That's better. She walked out. Her lawyer followed. The door closed. Tom turned to me. It's over. Just like that? Just like that. You're officially not married. Never were, legally speaking. The slate is clean. 3 months later, I'm sitting in my penthouse writing this story. The lake house is still mine. Rachel moved back in with her mother. Diane is facing fraud charges. The DA took an interest after Tom forwarded the evidence. Trial is set for next spring. Michael Chen was disbarred. His entire practice is under investigation. Rachel's Instagram, where she'd posted hundreds of photos of us together, always with captions about true love and soulmates, is deleted. Gone. Like our relationship never existed, which, legally, it didn't. I'm dating again. Slowly, carefully, with background checks this time. Tom recommended a private investigator who specializes in vetting potential partners for high net worth individuals. It feels cynical, but I'm done being naive. My father jokes that I should write a book. How to dodge a gold digger in one easy step. Hide under the bed. People ask if I'm angry. If I hate Rachel, I don't. Hate requires energy I don't have. Anger requires caring about someone enough to be mad at them. I'm just done. With her, with the lies, with the 5 years I'll never get back. But I learned something valuable that night under the bed, listening to Diane's phone call. Sometimes the universe does you a favor. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you find out the truth before it's too late. And when that happens, when you get that gift of clarity, you don't question it. You don't second guess it. You take the evidence. You call your lawyer. You burn the whole thing down. And then you walk away from the wreckage with your dignity intact. Rachel thought she'd married a pathetic rich idiot she could manipulate and rob. Instead, she walked out of that ballroom with nothing but a ruined wedding dress and a fraud charge. I call that justice. They'd planned my destruction for 5 years in secret. I dismantled their entire scheme in 4 minutes and 37 seconds of recorded audio. And honestly, it felt better than any wedding would have.